Welcome to the CE Pro Podcast. I'm Executive Editor Arlen Schweiger. Last week, we focused on the video trends and favorite picks for 2021 as we continue to come closer to New Year's and welcoming 2022. But this week, we turn to audio, which continues to be a huge opportunity for custom integrators. CE Pro's Bob Archer welcomed his audio guys, Paul Bochner of Electronic Concepts, AudioControl's Alex Camara, and Savant Steve Silberman for their take on the year in audio trends, top picks, and more for 2021 in this week's episode. As always, be sure to subscribe to CE Pro's YouTube channel and hit that like button on our videos, or subscribe to the CE Pro podcast on Apple and Spotify and leave a review.
Hi, I'm Bob Bochner. I am Senior Editor of CE Pro Magazine, and today I have our esteemed audio panel of experts. We're going to talk about what's happening in immersive audio and home theater in 2021 and our expert panel's favorite products and demo pieces, content pieces for the year. I have Alex from AudioControl, I have Paul from ECS, and I have Steve from Savant here. How you guys doing today? Oh, sorry. How you guys doing today?
Yeah, good.
All right, so getting right into this, Steve, could you give me some of your favorite products, or no, we'll hold on that for a second. If you could talk about what's going on in immersive audio in the home for 2021.
Yeah, so this has been kind of a fun topic for me. We're currently working on some new streaming integrations. We've got Amazon Music coming in hopefully in early 2022. We're getting really close to that. And so in the spirit of that, I've been really paying attention closely to immersive audio. So this year, Apple Music announced full immersive capabilities through Apple Music, but up to 24/192. So we're seeing this whole shift in high resolution across some of the major streaming services. You've got Amazon Music, you've got Tidal, you've got Amazon HD, all doing high resolution music. But in addition to that, they're putting out a lot of they're pushing through a lot of great immersive content. And, I was talking to Paul Bochner the other day, just to experiment and kind of get ahead of the curve with, things that are coming in Savant. I have a Mac Mini set up in my home theater downstairs, and I use the HDMI out. I got the premium Apple Music subscription, and it's been fascinating playing around with immersive music. I know in the context of home theater, we often want to talk about our latest and favorite movie. But what's really intrigued me over the last 6 months is all of this immersive music. And in particular, what really caught my attention was the label 2L, which is one of the most, after Deutsche Grammophon, probably one of the most recognized classical or orchestral music labels. And Morton over there, who I think just got either 7 or 9 Grammy nominations the last couple of weeks. He's really leaned in hard on immersive and closing your eyes and listening to these pieces in immersive. It's not a question of trumpets in the ceiling and trombones in the back. What he's doing is he's using the immersive solution to recreate the ambience and the decay and the delay of these halls. So you close your eyes and you feel like you're in a 120 foot by 75 foot room. It's just a trip. But on the other side of that, I got little kids, and they're into whatever's, hot in pop music. So we listen to Doja Cat and Dua Lipa and Justin Bieber. And these producers are going into the studio with the intent of taking a sensational experience with immersive music, right? Because they're thinking about Atmos, not only in the home, but in the car, and how they move music around these cabins, right? And so I've been having a blast with the 2L stuff. My kids have been having a blast with all the pop stuff. But I think that as we roll into 2022, I think immersive music should become a huge part of everybody's demo repertoire, because home theater is back in a big way, right? The lockdown really got everybody thinking about home theater again. But music ingestion and high performance audio sales, as Paul can attest to, are just through the roofs. And I think that people should lean in on all this really cool music that's coming out in immersive, because I think that to me is as important a reason for me to invest in the home theater as movies are themselves.
Paul, could you share your thoughts of what you think is important in terms of immersive audio and home theater in 2021 that's happened?
Yeah, and I think I'll echo a little bit of what Steve's saying too. Is the immersive music, it's like, I remember, what was it, 10, 15 years ago when everybody was chasing all the DVD audios that were around? Like, that died. I feel like that died for a long time. I might be mistaken, but I haven't seen, concerts come out on Kaleidoscape and things like that, but it's rare that they're super immersive. I think the last one I saw was that Adele one at Royal Albert Hall that's probably been kicking around for like
10 years.
10 years. And that's like you were saying about Decay, like the way that was recorded, if you watch that in a good theater, it's amazing. I mean, you can hear the room, you can feel the crowd in that space. And like we've all said already, people have gone hard into home theater since COVID happened. And one of the reasons why I think we keep bringing up high performance audio sales, one of the reasons I think that's jumped up is people aren't going to concerts. Some are, but a lot of people are still afraid. And that immersive theater with the music experience now is just another reason to invest harder into your home system. Let's have our artist in the home. Let's just stay here. Let's experience it in a real way. Because most of our customers, most of our friends, most of our family have no idea that world even exists. And I'm just like Steve. We're loving that we can do that now, and that we have better content, and obviously better gear that we can do it with.
I mean,
you hit on.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
I was going to say, I mean, I think for us, I would definitely echo what both Paul and Steve are saying. What we've seen, and we're an electronics brand, as you know, and particularly specialized in home theater, and really got into the whole immersive side in our development, probably 3 years ago. But what we saw in 2021, which I think echoes what my two friends are saying, is this transition from surround sound really into immersive audio. We saw the Grammy Awards, I think in 19, changed their naming of their awards from surround to immersive. And I think what we saw both in our products, but also in the industry, and particularly a little bit driven by COVID, I think, just the nature of by being indoors, is this sudden realization that 360-degree sound, 360-degree audio, immersive audio, right, where it's not just coming in a linear fashion, but it's coming all around you, has just transformed what people are starting to really enjoy. And by the way, as I think Steve may have alluded to, not just in the theater, but also in the car, in the plane, in the boat, in all areas, and certainly, I think your point, Paul, is really a good one, in that people are also willing to spend more money on this now. We're seeing some of our higher end products are some of our best selling products today, and I think that's a key part of this as well, in that people don't just want the product, they're willing to spend more on it than they did in the past. So for me, I think that transition to immersive really, we saw took off a little bit in 20, but in 21 really came to the forefront.
Sorry, I almost jumped over you. I just wanted to emphasize something that Paul said. You mentioned the Adele concert. This year, the last 2 years, really, I've been subscribing to nugs.net because they live stream concerts, right? And that's been really fun. Concerts, I mean, I wanted to go see Dead & Company at Red Rocks. And by the time I got around to buying tickets, they were $500 a ticket for nosebleeders.
I mean, I'll give you an example of that, Paul, Steve.
I streamed it at home.
We went to see the Coldplay concert at the new Climate Pledge Arena here in Seattle. And at the same time, they live streamed it in immersive audio, right, to the home. Okay. At the same time, I think it was Apple that streamed it, and just an amazing example of, I think, that transition that we're seeing. And it's exciting. I have friends who are literally, we're at the concert, and they're texting me, hey, we're at the concert as well. We're at home, but we're at the concert. So I think there's a whole opportunity here for our industry to really dramatically change that experience at home, as well as being able to go out as well. We want to go out as well, ideally.
Yeah, I mean, we're also seeing too, Bob, like, I think we're talking about immersive, but also people are doubling down on the dual purpose system too, right? Like, even if it's not just an immersive theater, it's a theater with a heavy stereo front stage to it, so that you could get the best of both worlds. Like, a lot of people are coming to us now and saying, I'm ready to spend a lot more money, but I don't really have space for two systems. So even if you don't want to do it immersive and you want to do it as a true listening room, like, that option's still there. Both sides of this are just getting pounded really hard since COVID in a great way, right? It's people are willing to spend the more money because they're saving. My God, I think the average people in like New York Metro, between what they're saving on going out to dinner, not going on as many vacations, not going to the movies, not going to concerts. I mean, for some people, that's a huge chunk of change that's, now sitting in their pocket, and they're working from home, many of them still. So
I would add,
all the more reason.
And one thing, Paul, to what you're saying, which I think is a great example from a product point of view, is that the receiver market, the high-end receiver market, has grown dramatically for us. You know,
out of control.
we have 3 models in our receiver category. They're all you know, high-end to some extent, but however the mid and the high-end now outsell the lowest of those 3 models. You know, it's just fantastic to see, you know, the acceptance of that, which really wasn't around 3 or 4 years ago. People were saying to me, "So when are you going to get out of home theater?" And we're like, "Well, we're not." You know, and thank goodness we didn't. But the point being,
when are you going to make a $500 receiver? That was the question.
We still get asked that. We still get asked that. But
yeah, I don't think immersive, from a music standpoint, I don't think immersive is going to be the passing fad the way that 3D was. I think immersive is only going to become a bigger part. People spend so much time in their cars, and it's so good in the car, and people are buying home theaters, and it's so good now. The producers know what they're doing with all of these different channels. It's not hokey like Paul said, when this was, people attempted this 10, 15 years ago, and it was kind of, people were being silly with the channels. Now people are being really sophisticated from the production side of things.
If I could throw in my 2 cents, guys, I think another thing that's really important in all of this is the pro market is also supporting immersive audio. You can go to concerts these days and they're using sound reinforcement systems from companies like L Acoustics and Meyer Sound, and they offer immersive audio capabilities with some of the systems that they can put together now. And there's consoles that support that now. So you can go to a live event and hear immersive audio of your favorite bands, and you can also get that experience at museums and other theme parks, and you can go almost anywhere to get immersive audio sound too. There's a company, Astro Spatial Audio, I believe is their name if I remember correctly, and they make these processors that deliver high channel counts, so you can really go crazy with the immersive audio in big spaces.
That's a great point. Yeah, I mean, L Acoustics, TPI, like all these companies that were in like the live music or big club. I think TPI was into like big club type music. Now they're doing huge immersive home theater speakers too, right? It's like, it's funny how these are all starting to get intertwined. And I think it's like Steve started, it's people want immersive music. Cars for the last 10 years have basically given you immersive music, right? If you bought a car in the last 10 years, they got, I don't know, 12 speakers is like the average, you know, you could buy a Prius with 12 speakers in it. So I think that's starting to become the kind of a norm for, you know, just music or, you know, or theater. It's a good thing for us, right? People are actually getting exposed to it more than they were, you know, 10, 15 years ago.
I think the comparison between the car and the home is an interesting one, Paul, that you make, because I think, you know, we've seen that in our industry, and certainly when you take not just speakers, but when you look at time alignment, when you look at you know, the ability to be able to change the sound stage within the room, within the car, and that's now happening in the room. And to your earlier point, I think also that it's not just a home theater. Yes, home theaters are certainly exploding in our marketplace, but the advent or the acceleration of the media room as well is just playing perfectly to this change, you know, in our industry. So.
Yeah, agreed.
My immersive dream is Formula One gets immersive audio.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. I will.
That would be so much fun.
Yep. They did a really quick thing on that. They did a thing. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was at Suzuka, and they did Ayrton Senna's like last lap there, and they lined. It might have been L Acoustics or one of these huge pro audio speaker companies. They lined the entire racetrack with speakers and lights on top. So you could basically from an aerial follow the path of the car, and it had the sound of his engine the whole way around the racetrack. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like just, I mean, there was like a couple of thousand speakers, you know, around this track to recreate this, which is super cool. Talk about immersive, right?
All right, guys. The next question I have for you, I want to try to pin you down, or at least pin you down as best as I can on this. Now that 2021 is drawing to a close, I'd like to talk about some of your favorite products and technologies that maybe you've seen come out this year. And Paul, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's quite a few speakers came out this year that I've, you know, been a huge fan of. In the back of my corners, we have the Magico A5's actually just won Loudspeaker of the Year with Stereophile. Great audiophile speaker, but also an amazing theater speaker, right? I mean, they're just all aluminum body. They're just there's a reason they're slaying giants and they're winning awards, right? They're just a very, very different animal than a lot of the, the quintessential, wood box speakers that have been around for so many years. There's so many immersive processors out there. I mean, AudioControl's got on my love. I can't even pick one because there's so many good ones. We've had AudioControl in our theater here. We've had Lingdorf in our theater here. I mean, it's almost like this year, it was like, what could you get that you didn't not like? Like what could we get because the supply chains were so hard, and we bounced around, but anything that's true immersive and anything that had good room correction, I'm a big fan of. Anything that's going to do more work and take it out of our hands and give our customers a better experience. Yeah, for me, definitely, I think it was speakers. Also, there's a new pair of speakers behind me from a company called Perlisten, which they're getting a lot of love right now for what they're doing. They're crazy THX certification on these speakers, so they fit very well into immersive theater. I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it came out of some of the guys from M&K, right, who were one of the first guys in doing big THX stuff. So again, I could be wrong there, but that's kind of the grumbling I heard. So if you haven't heard of those guys, definitely check them out.
Hey, Alex, your favorite products or technologies that come out this past year?
Well, we've certainly seen a ton of advancement. Obviously, as you know, we have our own products on the theater side, as well as our CM series on the 70-volt side, which won one of your awards. Thanks again for that. I think other products that we love, and we work with a ton of speaker companies. We're speaker agnostic, so we have the luxury to do that. Certainly, we've worked a ton with companies like JBL and Focal and Morel and Origin, Dynaudio. So we work with pretty much well over half the speaker companies out there, BMW and so on. So I think we've seen the speaker category, particularly the higher end speaker category, as Paul's alluding to, really start to drive products into the marketplace that have been just blown us away, like the ones behind me and others. Certainly on the technology side, I think for us, and there's other companies as well, but Dirac, I think the ability to take a technology like Dirac and really help use Dirac to improve that immersive experience in the home, to improve it, whether it's in a media room, whether it's in a home theater. And there's other technologies like Dirac, but we use Dirac, and that's something which they continue to invest really heavily in the immersive side of their business, and how that can be easily transformed in helping to tune the room depending on the layout of a house. Alongside Dirac, other technologies, obviously, we're doing some exciting work on the AVB side, and we're doing some of that work actually with Steve, which is really exciting. And I think that's going to be a very interesting way of being able to help to distribute that immersive audio throughout the house over time. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, no, I mean, obviously our CM series, great with that. That was a big award winner for us. But I think in the last year, 2 years, the amount of advancement and the amount of products getting into market, even though supply chains are difficult, has been way beyond anything we saw, I think, in the last 5 years. So.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Steve, if you could name your favorite products and technologies to hit the market this year.
Yeah, I had 3 this year. And I mean, to reiterate what Alex just said, the new CM series of amplifiers, the 2-channel, 3-channel, 4-channel CM amplifiers, that we are a partner with AudioControl. We resell AudioControl products in the Savant store to our integrators, and that may be one of the most valuable tools we've brought to the store this year. The amplifier is so flexible; it can do 4 ohm, 8 ohm, 70 volt. I can bridge. I can use internally. I can use its matrix for analog and digital inputs. It's just an absolutely phenomenal, spectacular product that can do so many things as a tool, but then on top of it, it just sounds great. So to have a product with that kind of flexibility and the agility and all of the different options it brings to the table, and have it sound really good. It's just the products I was most excited about bringing into the store this year was the CM series of amplifiers. And then another product that we sell in the Savant store that I was really excited to bring in are right behind me, the JBL 4367. This is one of their reference benchmark speakers. And, like Paul said, with the Magico speakers, it's unconventional, and they're thinking outside of the box, and they make an absolutely spectacular product that I can use in home theater, I can use in stereo, and it's got gusto, right? 15-inch woofers, unbelievable wide sound dispersion, and incredibly delicate and refined sounding. It just does everything. And from us, It was the Nano 2 subwoofer. We got an award from you guys for our Nano 2 sub. And then there's some technology that trickled down from the Nano 2 sub, which will be out next year. There's some technology that trickled into our current Nano WiSA subwoofer. We've worked really hard to improve the DSP that's built into the subwoofer. So we're actually, with our existing subwoofers in the field, with the launch of 10.0 on Wednesday, all of those subwoofers got an over-the-air update that gives them another octave of bass performance. So, for me, that was one of my favorite product of the years, the Nano 1. It's not really a new product, but with all new DSP, it made it an entirely different product. And it just sounds spectacular. So it's been an exciting year. There's been a bunch of products that I've loved this year, but those would be my top three. Would be the CM series from Alex, the JBL speakers, just I can't get enough of them, and the subwoofer technology, the improvements, and the new products we have coming.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Hey,
my
Bob,
final.
Bob, I just had one other category to think about on this with immersive, and to Steve reminded me of, which is invisible speakers. There's the jury is in and out on those depending on various aspects of them, but we've certainly seen in the last year, I think, with the advent of invisible speakers, whether it's what Origin Acoustics are doing or other companies like that, be a big acceleration in the immersive side, and the technology's got better and better and better. So that's another area that we shouldn't ignore, I think, in the immersive side. So
yeah, that's a fair point. I've designed a lot of home theater systems recently where the heights were invisible, just because the client, the homeowner, the interior decorator, nobody wanted that much busyness in the ceiling. So yeah, they're finding their way now.
I completely agree. Amenia, Sonance, their Stealth. There have been a lot of advancements in that category. Yeah,
Savant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we make our own invisible speakers, and we sell the synthesis invisibles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys. My final question for you today is, I'd like each one of you to provide your favorite piece of demo content that you may be currently listening to for both immersive audio and traditional two-channel stereo. So, Steve, we'll start with you.
For two-channel stereo, and it's ask me tomorrow, I'll give you a different list. With the Beatles' Let It Be coming out, my whole family's been just, we're going into season or episode 3 tonight of the 8-hour odyssey of the Beatles' final chapter, right? It's got us all listening to the Beatles again. And if you're a Beatles fan, or if you're a classic rock fan, the last couple of years they've done remasters of all the albums. They're available in all of the mainstream streaming services. And starting, I think they started with the legitimate, these sounding
White Album
masters started in 2019. I think it's the last time they're going to touch the tapes. It's all new music. I mean, they always restricted the dynamics on these albums in the 60s because they were using a cactus needle for all intent and purpose on a turntable. So they couldn't give you real bass when they made these albums 40, 50 years ago. And so with all the new technology and whether it's record or it's analog or it's digital, they're really letting these remasters fly. And so if you haven't listened to the Beatles recently, if you haven't listened to all the new remasters, for just a 2-channel demo, they're just absolutely spectacular, and everybody loves the Beatles.
And most of them are in MQA too on Tidal. Yep. If you're using Tidal, to get White Album in MQA on the right system is mind-blowing. I mean, it really is incredible.
In Amazon, they're in $24.96. So I mean, it's really cool. And then on the immersive side of things, I've been kind of wrapped around all the 2L recordings that have been coming out. I wouldn't pick any one particular recording over another, but I think that Morton over 2L he set the benchmark for what immersive can be like at that sophisticated of a level.
Okay, Alex, if you could provide your 2 picks.
So I'm like Steve. He's so right. I mean, tomorrow could be a different one. In fact, 2 hours time could be different, depending on where you are. But I would pick a couple. One, certainly I think we use Tidal a lot. There's other streaming services, but Tidal we use from a high res point of view in our studios. I love John Butler's Ocean. That's a 11 or 12-minute track, which when you really delineate the notes in an immersive speaker situation is incredible. You close your eyes and you're just taken away by that. I like a lot of female vocals. We use female vocals a lot. Aurora, if you know Aurora, her version of The Seed is amazing. Giuliana Sire are some Mediterranean artists that are incredible. And then the other thing, I think, I mean, I could go on and on. You know, there's a male artist actually called Aaron Jones. Baptized in Muddy Waters is another amazing track that we use. But I'd also go back to someone like a company like MoFi, you know, who are remastering, you know, music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. You know, MoFi are not just doing vinyl; they're now doing actually remastered, highest resolution CD quality, small discs, which we started to use a lot, and that's been pretty special for us. So, oh, you go on. There's a lot. It's fun.
Yeah, I've also been on a Nick Cave kick. I don't know if you guys are into Nick Cave or not.
Okay.
Nick Cave is, I mean, he's one of the best songwriters out there. His recordings are incredible. He's a baritone singer, he's a dark rocker. But
I just typed that so I could remember.
I'll send you guys a playlist. I'll send you guys a playlist of my favorite. And then I'm just going through. I'm looking at what my recent plays have been, because I kind of get into these threads. You know, for new music, I don't know if you guys listen to Banks, but she's incredible. I love her songs. I love her recordings. She's just absolutely spectacular. And then it's the holidays, so it's full on holiday music around here. Chili Gonzalez, who's one of the hottest piano session players. He's Feist's piano player. If you guys listen to Feist, Chili Gonzalez just put out a really great holiday album that it's in high res. It's just fantastic sounding. See, you go ask me 5 minutes later.
Yeah, you can't just have two. Yeah, you can't. We can't just have two.
Too hard.
Okay, I think, Paul, you're our remaining cast member, so to speak, to
I'll spew some picks at you. Anything like music-wise, anything off of, and this is how much weight this holds. I'm not a country person. I don't often listen to country music, but anything off of Chris Stapleton's From a Room Volume 1, specifically Death Row on that album, production-wise, I mean, it's a masterpiece, right? Like, it's one of those ones, if you're not even into him, you can't not like it on a good system. It's just incredible. I also, what did I have here? I'm literally scrolling through my rune for Rag and Bone Man. If you don't know who he is, he's like a British R&B guy. He's got a track called Die Easy that's a complete a cappella track. And on any halfway decent system, you can literally hear the decay in the room. It's like, if you don't hear the room decay, then it's not right? It's like that easy of a clean vocal where the reverb just goes up and then dissipates. It's absolutely an amazing track. Immersive theater, I'm like the old school action movie guy, right? I love the last scene in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah,
that's like one of my top viewed Kaleidoscape playlists. And also Thor Ragnarok, where Hulk fights Thor, is an incredible demo scene. They're kind of whipping each other around a giant stadium, and in a good immersive room like we have here, you can really, like, our theater's like 21 by 15, and it sounds like it's 100 by 50 something when that track's on. So yeah, that's it. Tool's last album, anything on Tool's last album, I don't care if you're in a theater space or in a 2-channel room, if you're not rocking to that, then we're not friends.
All right, I got that one down.
I can't stop now.
Yeah.
Okay, this is.
Sorry, Bob, we're taking over now.
For future use, who saw Ghostbusters 3?
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
It's the best Ghostbusters ever. I'm going to go on the record right now and say that it's actually Ghostbusters 3 is the best Ghostbusters. We went and saw it. We've got a really cool immersive theater here. We went and saw that, and it was the most spectacular surround immersive experience I've had in a box office ticket. I can't wait for that to come out on video streaming. And then in the same vein as Tool, if you just want to rock and you want to blow people's mind, they remastered Sticky Fingers, like just like the Beatles.
Yeah.
Can't you hear me knocking?
Yeah.
If you've got horns like I have behind me, if you're just not out of your mind boogieing when that is turned up.
Yeah. That's a perfect one.
Yeah.
If I could throw in my 2 cents on this, guys, I forget who it was, but somebody brought up the Beatles documentary that's currently on Disney Plus, and I think the whole visceral thing of seeing Paul McCartney sitting on the piano, noodling through what would be the intro of one of the greatest songs ever written, Let It Be, on the piano, while the other guys are casually talking.
I just saw that. Yeah.
You're literally a fly on the wall while they're writing and recording that record.
Yeah. Or how about when he takes his Hofner bass guitar and plays it like an acoustic guitar and writes "Get Back" in 2 minutes, writes the entire song right there on the spot.
Yeah, his understanding of harmony and melody, the way he had the vocal melodies kind of mapped out in his head before he had the lyrics. He knew the vocal melody and what chords he was going to play through that. And it's amazing to see something like that. And as music fans, we don't really get to see a whole lot of that stuff too often. There's probably no footage of, great artists like the Beatles in the recording studio. Maybe someday Led Zeppelin releases something like that, or the Stones. Or
there's a bunch of Floyd ones on Amazon Prime. There's a bunch of free old school like Floyd making Dark Side, Floyd making, and they're same kind of thing. It's just like watching, masterminds just create the greatest things. I don't even have the words for it. It's like, I'm a diehard Floyd fan, but to see their like process, like you're saying, Bob, just to get an eye on that process of how they're doing it. And
all right, since we're talking about the Beatles.
Yeah.
So I'm letting you into my safe space. So they did, this is probably the last time they touched the analog tapes, right? All of the Beatles albums were actually done in mono, except for the last album. And so they went back and they remastered all of this, right? And I thought, oh, okay. I don't know. I bought this like whenever it came out. Was it 8 years ago? Paul, did you get this?
No, but I'm staring like 2 feet from me. I have like every one of their albums, like the Mo-Fi versions.
Mo-Fi, I have the Mo-Fis,
yeah.
Those are good. I have those too, but these are better.
Right? No, that's pretty cool.
This was like the last. Hold on a second here. This will come off.
Show and tell now. We've reached the show and tell portion.
Of course, it gets really cool. So there's all the records in here, but the book alone was worth it.
Yeah, very nice.
But here's how. This is when you know you're a committed Beatles fan. So I bought 2 sets because I figured I did the calculation. I think it was 46 when I bought these. I figured I would need 2 sets to get me from here to the grave, right? Because I'm gonna wear this out. And then it turns out that they only produced the monos once, right? And I think when I bought them, they were $350 for the box set. And because they only produced them once, they sell for like $4,000 now on eBay.
Yeah.
And so I've had friends ask me if they could buy my backup set. I'm like, I am literally going to listen to that. It'll take me to the
Nope.
So whenever we should do a podcast from my place. You guys should all fly out and we'll drink IPAs and listen to the Beatles.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to talk about the best products of 2021, some of your favorite demo cuts, and what has happened in terms of home audio, immersive audio specifically in 2021. I look forward to reconvening with you in about 6 to 8 weeks. In the meantime, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, guys.
You too, Bob.
Cheers, Bob.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah.